post.
And then we'll go live here in just 1 second. People, stay with us.
We're here. We're sharing away, doing our thing.
There we go. Quiet on the set. Welcome to Living Low Sodium with Mary Schepp. Join Mary as she tickles your taste buds with her salty wit and her exceptional palate, all whilst guiding us through the land of low sodium. Today, to snack or not to snack? That is the question.
Yes.
Now,
Hi, Kiki.
how about that for an intro?
Right? That was fantastic.
Come on.
That was, I feel all famous and stuff. Like, I have that's pretty funny. Hi Jim, hi Kiki. We were just talking about cast iron a second ago. As a matter of fact,
We were.
Jim is my everything and anything about cast iron.
He's your cast
you should
iron
get his
guru.
book, Sharing Cast Iron. So yeah, to snack or not to snack. My thing is to snack, but I'm a food person, so I don't think that shocks very many people, because if there's food and I'm in proximity and I am allowed to eat it, I will.
That's it. Hal, welcome in. To snack or not to snack? She says snack, says the lady who's 110 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, you are way too kind.
Yeah. While the
that's
fat guy,
very
while the
kind of
fat
you.
guy over here
Yeah.
is still trying to get the Cheetos off of his fingers. You got it.
Now, did you need a nail brush to scrub
That's
the Cheetos
right.
off,
It
or
was-
were you able to lick the Cheetos off?
Yeah,
Because
it
that will
was-
determine how deep you dove
That's right.
into the Cheeto pit.
Is it a
Did you-
Cheeto coma or was it just a snack?
Was that that commercial where he breaks out the black light? When do we get a cat?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, hey, Gwen. So yeah, to snack or not to snack. I was thinking about this because recently I did the 23andMe genetic testing,
Mhm.
which is really super cool. And I thought about it for a long time. And I thought about it, and the thing that I always hesitated is because, do you really want to know when your DNA stuff comes back and it says that, you've got the genetic
Scary.
marker for Alzheimer's and Parkinson's
Yeah.
and Tourette's and stupid disease?
It's like
and,
talking with a medium and saying, when am I going to die?
I know.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Really? Could you?
What?
You couldn't have lied. No. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's genetic testing, and that DNA doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a marker for diabetes that you're going to end up a diabetic.
Right.
But still, I thought about it for a long time because I already have enough things wrong with me. Do I really want to know if it's going to tell me I have more? Well, eventually the want to know if there's anything that explains why I have the things that I have, why I have liver disease, and why I have a lesion on my spine. And it's funny because it came back with a couple markers that specifically point to liver and lung disease because of the way that my body handles proteins. And all of the markers came back with that. Like, even the way I metabolize medication was in this report. So it was pretty fascinating. So it got me thinking, because a lot of stuff with snacking and eating in general, and whether you do big meals, little meals, if you're a meat eater or a vegetarian, a lot of it has to do with genetics and how your body can process the bits of what you're eating. You said you get headaches with chocolate now.
Yeah. And bad acid reflux, yeah.
Right, so it's probably something to do with your, one of the things that was genetic, and of course my husband flat out, he's like, I call bullshit. That's just hokum. I hate cilantro. I just can't. I do love the seed, the coriander. I love that, but I just can't do cilantro. And as I'm reading through, because they give you the genetic markers if you're a carrier for all these things.
Thanks, Hal. Yeah.
And then they just give you fun facts. And one of the fun facts is you are more likely than not to hate cilantro. I was like, huh? How about let me yeah, honey, that's pretty neat. That's like all of these little things that I'm reading through. I was like, that's pretty neat.
Hal says 73, 6'1", still 168 pounds.
Yeah, and he's not lying. He's not lying. He's every bit of it. So it's.
Thanks for those markers, Pops.
Yeah, he's.
Nice.
I'm shrinking in age. I am still the tallest of the three of us girls, even though I'm the youngest. And it's funny because it goes me, and then my middle sister, and then my oldest sister is the shortest.
Yeah, you know, I'm the youngest. I think I was I'm either tallest or tied for tallest. Yeah.
Both my parents. My mom is, or was at one time. She's also shrinking, but she was. You know, my parents would walk into a room, and the two of them, 6'1", and if my mom had heels on, it's like they stood over everybody. So it was never. I mean, it wasn't difficult ever picking my parents out of a place because you know they were
not my
tallest
folks. My dad 6'1", my mom 5'1".
That's always so adorable when you see that big difference.
That's right.
So there's a lot of studies that suggest eating more frequently may offer benefits by decreasing hunger and food intake at your subsequent meals. So when you eat or snack all day long, you curb that food craving. So if you keep those little bits of, you know, chocolate covered almonds and obviously the caveat is both portion control and what you're eating.
Now I heard from a Big Ten wrestler that if you think you're hungry, you should just drink water because your body's made up of so much water. And then if you're still hungry, then maybe eat something.
So what's funny that you say that is there's a significant amount of studies done that the vast majority, an overwhelming majority of people don't know what it feels like to be thirsty. You know what it feels like to be dehydrated. When you're like, oh my God, like I need
Your lips
something.
are chapping,
like
yeah.
I need something to drink. When you get to that point, your body is screaming at you that you need liquid of some sort. And that's when you down 6 bottles of water and you're like, I just still don't feel refreshed because it's still sitting in your gut and it has to be metabolized.
Yeah.
It does quickly, but the vast majority of people can't tell the difference between hunger for food and hunger for water, which to me was fascinating. And until I had started changing my diet and drinking nothing but water, I actually realized the difference. And it was the most fascinating thing. Like when someone first said that, how could you not know that you're thirsty? And then it clicked and I go, oh, no, I'm actually not hungry. I just need a glass of water. 8 ounces and I was good water.
That's right. See, and I love these kind of refillable bottles. Great.
See, I don't like them because I don't know how to clean them.
Well, yeah.
I'm always picturing some.
You're just putting water in it. If you're just putting water in it, it doesn't need to be clean.
Yeah.
It's clean water.
Yeah, I suppose.
Flint, Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you think about how you eat, and if you eat snacks throughout the day, then you eat these little bits of food, and if you pick good snack options, then the chances of you going over your daily allotted caloric intake is significantly less.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm glad you said that because it's still calories in versus calories out. So if you're a sloth like me a little bit and just sit most of the day, you're not burning too many calories.
Right.
You shouldn't be eating the entire, well, I'll take a page out of Pete's book. We shouldn't be eating a bunch of Twinkies at that point.
You don't eat the whole box.
Right.
Or me, I would eat the whole sleeve of Oreos if you gave me the opportunity.
Well, that's with the soft batch cookies, you got to use the whole roll.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's open. I mean, you got it once it's open.
But that's why then some of us get. I mean, you're on your feet all the time, hustling throughout a 6-acre store, and it's so you're moving a lot.
And that's what's the difference is. And we were talking about this before, that the difference between snacking and grazing.
Yeah.
Those are two totally different things. And the other big thing is portion control. So if you sit down with a bag of potato chips, you have 0 portion control.
Yeah.
I would like one person
that is
to
a portion.
tell me.
Family size.
Right. Sits down with a bag of potato chips, myself included, and then eats the allotted 12 potato chips.
Yeah.
And then, oh, no, folds the bag up, puts it away. No. Unless you put a handful of potato chips on a plate or paper towel or something to go sit and eat that, and then that's your snack and you have portion control, that's a huge part of it. So if you have zero portion control and you're just eating a bag of chips or a box of even something that's healthy, like just plain unsalted almonds, if you just sit down with the whole flipping thing and you haven't done anything
You'll
all
eat the
day,
whole jar.
that's a lot of protein and a lot of calories, because I love cashews, and they're expensive. And honest, half the time, the only thing that stops me from eating the entire jug is the fact that they're expensive.
Yeah.
And I buy them from Sam's Club,
And
so mine aren't even that
pistachios.
expensive.
Yeah, I love pistachios the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm that guy who halfway through the family size, whatever, bag of chips go, God, this isn't healthy. I should stop. So I roll it up and I set it on the table next to me.
Yeah.
2 minutes go by and
Yeah.
I'm like, I might as well
It's
just
been
keep
like an hour. It's like I can eat one. Oh,
I'll just keep eating it.
I do like I get the low or reduced salts, less salt, whatever you want to call them, Lay's potato chips.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And for those of you low sodium friends of mine out there, I thought and I believe somewhere it said that they were going to discontinue it. So I don't know if our cries were heard and they changed their mind. But yesterday at the grocery store, I bought a bag of the reduced sodium barbecue potato chips, which were coveted by so many of us for so long. And then they disappeared because sadly, even though low sodium is the most prescribed diet on the planet, I think low sodium and sugar are the two up there. That they just don't sell. You see, anybody sees anything that says low sodium on it and they don't buy it. So a lot of us complained, not on purpose, but a lot of low sodium people had written to Hunt's brand and said, there must be something wrong with your label because your Hunt's tomato paste and your Hunt's no salt added tomato paste have the same label. But one says Hunt's paste and one says no salt paste. So they responded and said, no, it is the same recipe. It comes from the same vat. Neither one of them have any salt in them. They are exact same recipe, exact same ingredients, and exact same nutrition. Unfortunately, nobody will buy the regular, the non-salt ones.
Yeah.
So we have to have both on the shelf. Otherwise, people will pick another brand simply because it says no sodium on it.
That's
How
weird.
sad is that?
Yeah, right.
Like you
It's marketing. It's marketing.
Avoid your own brand simply because you don't think it has salt in it. You're like, oh, that must taste like ass because it doesn't have salt in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody complained about it. But so I love thinking of different snack ideas, and I wish I had the time to make some of the egg bites that I made for Pete when we talked about snacks a year ago because he devoured the whole tin. I don't even think you got to try
he
those.
didn't leave me any. He apologized.
I'm sure he felt real bad.
Sorry, bub. These were good.
I'm sure he felt really bad. So, I like, speaking of 23andMe, my dad doing his ancestry stuff, Nora, who just checked in, I'm pretty sure that's how I ended up connecting with Nora, is because my dad found Nora through his Ancestry.com stuff.
Fantastic.
So I make these egg bite things. It's essentially scrambled eggs or a mini omelet, whatever you want to call it, but you put them in little muffin tins.
Oh, yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Bake them up. They freeze fantastically.
Don't use ham, though.
No.
It's too watery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found that if you put sun-dried tomatoes in them, and the California sun-dried tomatoes you can buy, that there's some of them that aren't salted, so they're relatively low in sodium, but they have a huge punch of flavor. And it makes it almost, and I even fooled Pete. He even asked me, he's like, did you make some with bacon in it for me? They don't have any bacon. They were 100% vegetarian.
Delicious.
It just had the sun-dried tomatoes, and it brought a smokiness to it. So they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're the little tiny things, and they probably sell, and I got the idea from Starbucks because they sell them for like $92. So
Right.
you get 2 egg bites.
That's it. We do, we'll put broccoli and some onion and cheese. But
Right.
we tried it once with the ham, but then the ham's too watery for when you go to freeze it. It's not good the next.
Right. No, the texture. That's the other. You gotta just mind the texture of things that freeze because it's like that. Certain things like ham just doesn't. It doesn't freeze well. The other one that I stole from Starbucks, they have an egg and cheese protein box. So it's 2 hard-boiled eggs, some grapes, a couple pieces of cheese, some peanut butter, and this little bread thing. And it's expensive. It's $7, $8, $9, whatever, however many dollars. And to make it was less than $2. And I honestly didn't make all of them because I had more grapes left. I couldn't make enough, but I wasn't going to make too many. So it was really inexpensive, and it was a great little snack pack to have. And those are the kinds of things that you can, like, I'll leave it sit on my desk, and I'll go do something and come back and have a handful of grapes. And those are the kinds of snacks that I, honestly, if you have any kind of illness or chronic something, liver disease comes with chronic fatigue, and the same with transverse myelitis. Given half the chance, I will do nothing and sleep. And yesterday, it was one of those days. I've been cold for 3 days because the heat is broken in my office at my store. They're fixing it. But once you get cold to the bone, so I literally just sat under the blanket. And even my husband was like, if you don't want to make dinner. I said, no, I do, and I'll find the energy, and I have it. It's in there. But when you're fatigued, even though you have the ability to get up once you find the willpower to do so, that's the problem, is getting that willpower to push yourself. Because my muscles and everything will work just fine.
Yeah,
But
I took a sleep test, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you tired all the time? And I'm like, only when I stop.
Right. Exactly.
And they're like, what? I said, well, I work, I run my own business, I do this, I got kids. Da, da, da.
Right.
So when I stop,
Yep.
I'm done.
And it's the same thing that I tell everybody. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to sit down? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But, like, we're eating, we're at work, we're doing anywhere. We go to meetings and stuff. And
Those are
I was
brutal.
just like, I can't, because certain days when I start my morning, the other day, last week, I had 4 conference calls back to back. Like, first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock, I started my day sitting in my office staring, said an hour conference call. Got done with that one, went to the bathroom, got a cup of coffee, came back, sat down, had another hour-long conference call. Then an hour and a half conference call. I'm like, so I get out of my office, and I'm standing there, and my whole crew is like, are you okay?
Zombie.
No, I'm good. I just, like, are you going to make it? Like, you don't understand. Once I stop, it's everything
Done.
to get back up and get moving again. So it's really, really, really hard. But that's the thing, is when I eat a meal, and people don't think about this, the same thing when you get tired at Thanksgiving, it's not the tryptophan. I know everybody wants to believe that. They've done study after study. The amount of tryptophan, the amount of turkey you would have to eat to get enough tryptophan for you to be like, woo, I need a nap, is a lot. It's because your body expends energy digesting food.
Yeah.
So when you eat a big meal, it knocks you out. So if you have chronic fatigue like I do, and then I eat, everyone's like, how come you never eat lunch? Have you seen my fat kid stash? Like, I got a fat kid stash in the back. I got one in my car. I got one in my desk drawer. I have them all over the place. And it's pepitas, which are the pumpkin seeds. I love those things. Chocolate covered almonds, grapes, things like that.
I love grapes, yeah.
Something that I can just have a handful of.
Now you got monkey toast.
So for somebody who doesn't like bananas, I do like monkey toast.
What is monkey toast?
It's essentially just bananas and peanut butter and honey. It's like monkey butter. Okay. Monkey butter is bananas and pineapple in a jam form, which again, being someone that doesn't like bananas, you wouldn't think I like it.
It's pretty good. Huh?
It's fantastic. But that so because I don't like bananas, I try to find ways to spice it up. Like the breakfast banana split I showed you.
Yeah, that's nice. Ooh, I'd do that in a minute.
If you want to feel like you're eating dessert, I'll have to repost it because it was almost 2 years ago now that I posted the picture of it. But it looks like a banana split. Banana split down the middle, put in a tray like a banana split that you'd have with ice cream, but instead of ice cream, it's got yogurt and blackberries and blueberries and raspberries
They look delicious.
with honey all over top of it and some sliced almonds. And it's absolute, and it's more than one serving of fruit. It's more than one serving of yogurt, and it is indulgent. But it's, as far as indulgences go, it's not a custard,
Right.
you know. So it's actually really, really tasty and super filling. We talked about this with you and Noom and stuff like that, where
It's
a
caloric density.
handful of grapes versus a cheeseburger. You know, it's amazing how full you get so quickly on fruits.
Yeah, just strawberries or grapes or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And even I would always think like, oh, I'm going to be, you know, a handful of cashews isn't going to do it. And the next thing you know, you have a handful of cashews and it's like, I'm actually not hungry anymore.
Here's a fun snack that Lucy, my 11-year-old, right, she absolutely loves is you get your cast iron pan out, get it nice and warm, and throw a tortilla on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then butter and cinnamon and sugar. Roll it,
That sounds amazing.
and it's like a little churro, but it's not
Right.
really a churro. But yeah, and it's quick, and there's not. I mean, you're
Yes, I used to do cinnamon toast all the time.
yeah. So it's kind of a different take on cinnamon toast, but you know, she absolutely loves it, and it's nice because it's warm. I mean,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
So one of the ones that I didn't actually write down, and I haven't made in a while, and I probably should, is crepes.
On February 16th, we do have the pancake
I know.
throwdown here on Anything
Um,
Goes. So
I'm debating on what I want to make, because being the potato slut that I am, I want to make potato pancakes.
and I may just have a bunch of things plugged in here, table with a bunch of like
Hot
hot
plates.
plates for people to just
Yeah, make me cook on time.
make just make because
That's the recipe
because
for disaster.
you can't do it. You can't heat
Not
up
all of them.
a
Well, see,
pancake.
that's the thing
right?
about the crepes is I never would have thought that they would reheat and freeze as well as they do.
Yeah.
So I made this huge batch of these crepes, trying to alter a recipe to create a low sodium crepe. And after I was successful and I make all these crepes and I'm standing there and I have a stack. Like, what the? Like, Ben and I, we're not going to eat all these. So, wax paper between each one of them.
Yep.
Put them in the freezer and froze them. A week later, I go to pull one out, thinking, am I going to have to freeze the whole stack? The way they froze, they pop apart perfectly.
Beautiful.
So I had two of them. I set two on the wax paper on my counter, grabbed a plate. By the time I got back, they were thawed.
Sure.
So I just put some jam on it, rolled it up, put some peanut butter on the other one, rolled it up, and I had a peanut butter and jelly.
Gorgeous.
And it was like
Crepe.
I was like, how did I not know about this before? This is the best little. So now I for a long time I was making those because I could put anything like that, cinnamon sugar, fruit, grape, jelly, anything you wanted, honey, or just eat them plain. They're fantastic. So I do actually love me a good crepe, but I'm deciding what I want to cook for
Yeah, the throwdown would be good.
the throwdown. Being that I
Now-
lost to Jewel last time.
That's right. Stuffed peppers.
So
What are you going with? Well, is that your traditional red sauce and
anything, and I would have never. This is another one that I wouldn't have thought about until I was trying to find all these different ways to create. Because you think about when you're low sodium, if you want to have people over, if you want to go somewhere and you bring a dish and everybody brings a dip or whatever, and they're all just salt bombs. One way to impart flavor a lot of times is through spice. So one time I got it wasn't even the spicy peppers. It was a bag at Sam's Club of the little miniature red, yellow, and green peppers.
Mhm.
Washed them up, cut the top off, pulled the ribs out of the center, and I made a sour cream and water chestnut dip.
Awesome.
And just shoved that in there, and it was fantastic. And I made it. I used to play bunco, or I don't know if that was bunco or my sister's. I don't know, but things like that, especially if they're hot peppers, it doesn't have to be this unhealthy salt bomb.
Right.
You can put a bunch of them, and if you make them in advance and put a tray of them in your fridge, I'll just days go by and I'll snack on those.
And an outstanding source of vitamin C.
Right.
Outstanding source of vitamin C.
All peppers, hot peppers, sweet peppers,
Yeah.
peppers in general are unbelievably
More vitamin
healthy
C.
for you.
The more vitamin C in a
Right.
yellow pepper or a red pepper than there is in an orange.
Right.
Yeah.
They are fantastically tasty and extremely healthy for you.
And I'm glad you said that, because when a lot of people hear stuffed peppers, they think of, the meal where it's
Right,
the red
no.
sauce. Man, will do that too.
Those little red
Put some
cherry bomb ones or
put some
whatever.
taco meat in there, or
Sausage.
sausage, whatever. Yeah.
And for those of you that are going, sausage, and I'm low sodium and I can't have sausage, it is surprisingly. I think you had my mushrooms, my stuffed mushrooms, the little ones
delicious.
for Thanksgiving. The spices that go in most sausages are relatively similar. Fennel, sage.
Yeah.
If you want some cumin in there for a spice or whatever, some pepper flakes. The hard part is finding unbrined ground pork. I get it from the butcher or from any of the farms around here. If you're looking for one of them, check out the Facebook page, Fresh from the Farm. You will find all of the farms out here. But sausage is not that hard to make. And some ground up pork with some spices, and it's super tasty. Mix it with some panko breadcrumbs and stuff some peppers or mushrooms, and it's an unbelievably healthy snack, and it tastes really good. And if you want to add some cheese flavor, try nutritional yeast. So another thing, again, is with genetics, is how people taste. And there was a Mythbusters episode where they actually blindfolded a bunch of people and had them taste a bunch of blended foods so the texture was all the same. And some people would see something like broccoli as sweet, and some people would see it as bitter. I still think it's bitter, and I still like it, and I enjoy it, but I would never think of broccoli or cauliflower as being a sweet vegetable like a pepper is. But genetically, how your taste buds perceive things will determine that. You have either a sweet or a bitter palate. So everybody's different.
Try those little peppers. Try putting some hummus in there.
Oh, see, I didn't even think about
Fantastic.
that one. That would be fantastic.
Oh, that is so good. You get that garlicky,
So roasted garlic, I would eat by the tub.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I discovered it years ago through the Village Squire because they have it as an appetizer. And you just squeeze all the cloves out of the head of garlic and you smear it on toast with some olive oil or some vinaigrette or anything like that. Yeah. And just straight up roasted garlic. I can't.
We'll do crazy things, pepperoni, whatever because whatever goes. If you're putting green peppers, if you're putting peppers on your pizza, stuff them.
Yeah.
Like you get some mozzarella and just have a little fun with it, and you'd be surprised, especially if you got younger, kids or whatever, that how creative they can get.
Right.
And go, man, this is really good.
Right. And then it's like a snack on top of your pizza.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever. And I love getting kids involved. I love when people get children involved because the same with the stigmatas and myths around snacking. So much of it is your relationship with food.
Yeah.
And how you eat and how you perceive food and how you perceive whether snacking is good or bad or you should or you shouldn't, or it's all in your relationship with food. And when you look at it for what it actually is and pay attention to what you're eating, and as you like to say, you're present.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. It's not necessarily when you eat, and it's a combination of all of those things, but snacking's not bad. It's not necessarily good either, depending on how far you take it.
Right,
like the elbow deep into the Cheetos that came from Costco.
That's right.
So it just depends.
Cheese balls are tough to get rid of too.
Oh, see, and they sell it in a tub that you could bathe a baby in. I mean,
Right.
come on, like. We have them at the store, and every once in a while, someone will buy it and put a Post-it note that everybody can share, like because it's a
huge,
vat,
right?
and you will sit, and the next thing you know, and they put a big giant sticker on it, so you can't tell that you've already eaten half the
That's
tub.
right.
That's what's
Until
horrible
you start
about
scraping your elbow getting in there. You're like, oh,
it. Right. So, I'm trying to think of other the stuffed peppers. That's the one, the sandwich roll-ups. So if you're gonna snack, skip the bread. My personal opinion is there's not really much good about bread or milk. Like, we're not supposed to drink from cows. It doesn't necessarily, I just got yelled at by my doctor today that I'm vitamin D deficient. And yes, I know it's wintertime and there's no sun and blah, 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 but I do actually need to take vitamin D. There's many, many other places to get all of your vitamins and nutrients and stuff like that, more often than not, you're lactose intolerant. And if you're eating bread, it's just refined garbage. So unless you're milling your own flour and actually benefiting from all of the wheat and the germ and the oils, you're just doing a gluten bomb with sawdust. Is essentially all that's left in there is literally gluten, which is why the whole world, actually I shouldn't say the whole world, the Western United States
right.
is gluten. Because if you get some good flours from Italy and France, a lot of them are just fine and you have no reaction to them because of the fact that they're not quite as refined as our stuff is. So, but to do the roll-ups, the sandwich roll-up, piece of lunch meat, some cheese, squirt of mustard, maybe a couple pieces of onion.
Get some of those from Low Bird Kitchen.
Oh.
Grab those mustard caviar.
The caviar. That would be amazing.
Roll that right up in there. Oh, man, it would be delicious.
Oh, yeah. See, now I'm getting, and I haven't eaten yet.
That's what I after the show, I end up going home and just chowing.
Yeah, I got leftovers. I made involtini last night. Depending on who you are, it's either beef involtini or brujol, one of the two. But it's beef with panko and seasonings and Parmesan rolled up in a red sauce, a pomodoro sauce. It was absolutely fabulous. Had that last night. But if you can't think of, so I try and think of things that I like to eat, but you get bored with what your snacks are. So when I thought about that egg and protein cheese box, I stole an idea from somebody else. I liked it at fast food, so why can't I make it myself?
The other thing that I think is important is you have to plan it out. I mean, the reason we eat the crap is because it's right there and it's ready. So like, the egg, the little egg and grapes,
right.
You really have to take time to say, okay, I'm going to create this so that when I'm ready to snack, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I enjoy, like Greek yogurt with the homemade, granola.
Yeah.
Because I made it already, and you just scoop out the Greek yogurt, which is good. But
there's a lot of there was an episode I did about freezing and making big batch stuff and stuff like that, and a lot of the things that you never think of that would work in something like this, like tacos. Tacos you wouldn't think of as a quick snack. But ground beef and seasoning, you can make a huge batch of that and have your taco night and have all the fixins, the whole 9 yards. But it freezes phenomenally well. So when you make, and like you said, when you have it accessible to you, it doesn't mean you have to be a planner where you're like, okay, Monday we're going to have grape boxes, and Tuesday we're going to have this snack, and Wednesday we're getting cashews, and we're going to have this for dinner. You don't have to be that. I mean, if you want to, I have friends that are like that, and more power to you. That is not me. But if I buy a big giant thing of cashews and chocolate-covered almonds and pepitas, if I make my little single-serving sandwich bags and just throw them in my pantry, or same thing, fruit, you put a bunch of it in little tiny bags in the fridge, ground beef with the taco meat, lots of little tiny bags in the freezer, and you want a taco, if you have tortillas in your house, or even just a taco salad or a baked potato,
cool.
put some taco meat on top of a baked
Baked
potato. Not only do you have ready-made meals that are portion controlled, but if you want a snack and you're in a hurry, instead of going through fast food or eating something you shouldn't, if you already have a ready-made bag of mixed nuts and chocolate-covered almonds, you're more likely, or granola or whatever, you're more likely to grab that than you are any other kinds of garbage. And all of a sudden, snacking throughout the day made it better, and it curbs your cravings. So if you are someone who eats too much or whatever, you can help. There's many studies that have shown with this that they curb your craving. Yes, craisins are a big snack. I had to watch because I will eat way too many craisins, and they're loaded in sugar.
Back, I don't know if you can remember back this far, but in 2019, before COVID, remember?
That's too far away. You're asking,
yeah,
that's like,
I've lost you already.
It's been a long century.
You know, the office, you would do potluck days.
Yeah, all the time.
And I noticed that I always lost weight during the potluck days because that's all you do. You would just walk through and graze.
Yeah.
And at lunch you're like, I don't know, I've been kind of eating all morning, not really hungry,
right.
so I'll just sit here and chat with you, and then you just kind of, and the worst are, of course, the deviled eggs. They're, just in there.
See that's why they call them deviled eggs, because you'll
right.
eat 72 of those things.
Right. I mean, you don't go, hey, let's crack open a dozen of hard-boiled eggs and go after it. But if they're cut in half,
if they're sitting there. You're like, I swear I only had 2. Yeah, you ate the whole tray.
Right.
Somebody pulled the other tray out of the fridge. Mary ate this one.
That's right.
But I miss the potlucks. We used to do them all the time, years and years. Oh my gosh.
Ah, so good.
I still cook for my crew. I actually have to cook for them next week. I try to cook every quarter for them, and they seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I cook them my food, and they eat all of it.
Sure.
So.
Well, you're the boss.
Win for low sodium.
That's right. Helping them out. Helping out the team.
Quick side tangent. I got a lot of messages about losing the tamale contest.
Ooh.
And running the gamut from, I can't believe you lost, blah, 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 that's not fair, this is whatever, and I bet they were good, and this, that. So
They were good.
I don't, and a lot of people were like, I don't understand why you join a competition. You're not going to, I get it. I'm not going to win against people who have a salted palate, who are cooking salted food. I'm not going to win against that. My whole point is to prove that you can have tasty food.
It was good.
That's good for you, because everybody ate it. Nobody complained.
I wish it just had more meat in it.
It's different.
I'm a meat guy. But,
well, they're hard. That's my first roll.
Yeah, no, they were delicious. They were absolutely. And the red sauce was.
We ate the crap out of them.
Yeah, we've just been drinking the red sauce.
But I was actually surprised how many people. This is rigged. Well, no, I made it for a bunch of salties, and as Ben said, they're all over 40. They can't taste shit anyway.
Yeah, right. We're all over 50. Well, Dawn was the youngest. She's 49.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dawn's. Well, no, I'm not. Well, I wasn't eating. So
right.
I don't count.
That's right. Of the judges.
Right. Yeah. So before we go on to some. Oh, what did I? Yeah.
Did you miss some?
No, I'm messing up things on my phone, and I'm gonna end up calling people or something.
That's it.
So, I was reading, and I really wish, because I like to give credit where credit's due. I was reading an article, looking for stuff on snacking and grazing and so on and so forth, and this reporter who studies different cultures and tribes and people around the world, and he spends a significant amount of time with them, and he was talking about how exercise is ridiculous, and immediately I'm like, I can get behind this man.
Liking him already.
Let's vote this man into office.
That's right.
He's got a pretty good argument of why I should not be going through so much effort to get my elliptical in my house. Yeah. And the reason was that he discovered that all of these different tribes, they sit more than we do. So the fascinating part is that what he calls intermediate sitting. So they sit down. Well, they have stronger back muscles, less back pain, less migraines, and less neck pain because they sit on the ground, or they sit in like a stool or whatever. And I never really thought about it. But sitting in a chair with a back is a relatively new thing.
Or they're squatting.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them just kind of hunker down, yeah.
But you wouldn't think about the fact that sitting with a chair with a back is a new thing. It was reserved for kings, queens, popes, dignitary. Like, it was reserved for the highest of the highest got their throne with a back. Everybody else sat on a bench, or they sat on the floor, or they didn't sit at all. They sat on a rock, a ledge, or
Cushion
whatever.
or whatever,
They wanted to
yeah.
sit, they sat somewhere else. You didn't get a back. Well, now that we sit with a chair back, which is why you see all those balls and the ergonomic whatevers without
Right.
the back is so good for you, because it forces you to use your back muscles, which strengthens your back, your core, and your neck. But the intermediate sitting is,
You know, it would be great is to watch Uncle Pete in the morning try to sit on
oh
one
my
of those
gosh.
balls.
Could we YouTube that? We would be YouTube famous
Just get rid
overnight.
of the chairs and bring a big ball
Right.
in here.
Put all the cameras on and just watch him in the morning trying to find a chair. Oh my God, that would be absolutely hilarious. So, but they don't, even though they sit more than we do, more hours a day than we do, they get up and they stoke a fire, they sit back down. They get up and they get something to eat, they sit back down. They help an elder, they help a kid, they sit back down. So they're this constant
Up and down.
up and down. So what it does is it means that their muscles are constantly activated. It doesn't mean strength training or core training. And the reason why he said exercise was ridiculous is because as somebody who exercised, when he would go visit these tribes, every morning, 5 a.m., he would get up and go for a quick run. So all these tribes people are looking at him like he's the biggest moron in the face. Like, what is this crazy guy doing? Like, why would, is there a tiger? Is there something coming, like snakes? What's, like, is there
Right.
something to attack us? Why would you voluntarily just get up and expend a mass amount of energy
Isn't that
for
crazy?
fun?
Right.
And then he'd come and sit back down and he's all sweaty and expended. And, of course, he pulls a protein bar or something out of his backpack. And they don't have that luxury.
Right.
The calories in, calories out. But part of the reason that they are significantly more healthy is because their muscles are always engaged.
Well, the survivalists kind of do the same thing too, right?
Right.
I can't, today I'm just going to sit because I can't expend energy because I don't have food or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to that calorie in, calorie out type of a thing.
And it's funny to me because when you think of in here and now in our society, when you look at people and go, holy crap, I like, how are you? You're 85, 95? Like, how you look at Betty White.
99.
Right. You
Yeah.
go, how is it that I'm 42 and I feel 98 and you're like, you're just a spry little, these people that come through my store every once in a while, like, you could outrun me. I am toast if anything comes running through this store. Like, holy crap. Because they stay active.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law's dad is that way. Like, he's constantly fixing something, boating, doing something, golfing. Like, he just doesn't sit still.
It's a lot of what I've started to do. And
Right.
I've got to be doing something because, like I said, if I stop,
Yeah. So
I'm done.
once I sit down, I'm toast.
Yep.
But they've discovered that and I learned this the hard way. When I went into the hospital when my liver failed, I was only in there a few days. But just being sedentary for a few days while my body was consuming everything that it could to try and fix itself, muscular atrophy happens very, very quickly. And as you get older, it's expedited. So when you don't move and you don't, even if it's like I know restless leg syndrome is a bad reference because that's actually a syndrome. But when you constantly shift or fidget or whatever, you're not strength training or core training or whatever, but you're keeping your muscles activated.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thought process of when I stay going all day long and I snack all day long and then I eat a decent meal to make up my caloric deficit at the end of the day, and then I'm done. I'm toast.
Jessica McHugh says, like the idea of the egg protein box. I'm having a hard time getting the other half to eat. This may work.
Yeah, I do. I like I love the hard-boiled eggs. And I switch it up. It's whatever fruit is available. I just got the idea because that's what it was. It was a balanced protein box with the eggs and the cheese, and then you had the fruit and the little bread piece, which The little bread pieces, I don't know if anybody actually does get those Starbucks boxes, but the actual little bread toast thing, it's like 2 inches across. It's this tiny little bread thing. You can buy them at Fresh Time. So there are grocers that actually have them, and the ones I get have cran raisins in them, craisins in them.
Craisins.
So let's talk some myths here.
Ooh.
We might have. I liked the myths last week, so I thought I'd see if there's any myths around snacking. And I think we might have touched on some of these, but the first myth says snacking is bad for you and will lead to weight gain. When in actuality, most people concerned about their weight might believe that snacking between meals is a bad idea. Healthy snacking, however, can be an important factor in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Choosing a snack of around 100 calories filled with vitamins, proteins, and healthy fats is a good way to maintain consistent energy levels and resist overeating during meal times. Studies have also shown that small snacks in the afternoon can increase both concentration and performance. And there's a lot around that. When you have these little bits, it keeps your energy up.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to what you're eating, because if it's a high sugar or high caffeine snack, then you're defeating the purpose and you're going to crash.
And if you do track your calories,
Right.
and there are a lot of people out here do, and let's say your diet is 1,700 calories per day. Try to eat 1,700 calories of fruits and vegetables.
Right? It's insane.
I mean, I try to consume a lot.
Yeah.
And on a good day, maybe 500 or 600 calories, because so much of this stuff just doesn't have a bunch of caloric stuff to it,
And it really is. When you look at a serving of, I keep saying cashews because I like cashews, but a serving of cashews or grapes, or some of the serving sizes are huge.
Yeah. A cup.
And some of them
and a
are
half.
like 6. I get 6 nuts.
Yeah.
But it's all about that caloric density and how long it takes your body to how much energy your body needs to expend to actually burn what you've fuel you've consumed. And no different than throwing gasoline on a fire. It's not going to make a great fire, but it's going to do a big poof. That's the same with sugar. You get a big poof, and then it comes and it's gone. But when you have an entire bowl of grapes and you're like, there's no way I'm going to eat all that. Or so the big tubs, for reference, in Jewel or any other grocery store, you can buy the salad in a box.
Yeah.
Lettuce, mixed greens, spinach. The big giant thing of spinach is 2, maybe 3 servings.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding? Like, my jaw hurts thinking. I mean, if it was cooked down into, then it's
Sure.
nothingness. But to actually eat that as a salad is a huge salad.
That's a big salad.
So, the caloric density when you actually eat healthy green foods will fill you up really fast. And it's really good for you. I'm glad this is a myth, because I always eat before bed.
Amen.
Never eat before bedtime. I am not ashamed to say that I have ice cream most evenings.
Well, that's good though. I mean, you're supposed to have something cold, so it builds up.
I
and-
find every way I can
have
to
no idea.
justify it, but I do. I have.
And what is your go-to ice cream?
Lately, it's been cookies and cream, which isn't the best, but normally I'm a butter pecan girl.
Oh, you're a butter pecan. A moose
I got an old
tracks.
soul.
Moose
See
tracks
that you and
sounds-
Ben could be sleepover buddies, because he'll tell you until he's purple that he's not a sweets guy, but you give him a bucket of chocolate ice cream and he'll down it before you know it.
That's
So,
it.
never eat before bedtime. Myth says, listen to your body, and if you're hungry after dinner, have a bedtime snack. Instead of unhealthy snacks, reach for small, balanced bites. Try some dried fruits, handful of almonds. If you're always hungry late at night, consider keeping a food diary to see where you might be missing nutrition throughout the day.
I traded in my ice cream at night for a half a cup of Greek yogurt.
See, and in the past, I had done that when I behaved better.
Yeah.
But lately I haven't. Obviously I'm very good on my diet because I'm still not on medications or anything of that nature. But I don't know. I've decided lately that I'm going to indulge in my indulgence.
You have to.
Is a little bit of
That's
sugary sweet.
that's
ice
what
cream.
life's all about, right?
Right?
Absolutely.
Myth, low-fat snacks are always better. Be careful with snacks that are labeled low-fat. Oftentimes, low-fat snacks have added sugar or artificial ingredients to keep the taste the same without the fat, and that is the same with low sodium. Fat can actually play an important role in your diet, so try to enjoy it from plant-based sources like nuts or something like avocados.
Just love eating an avocado straight. Just good.
You know, I couldn't get on the avocado craze in the beginning. Because it was avocado everything.
Yeah.
Like warm avocado on toast, like that just sounds gross to me. Like warm avocado just doesn't sound like a thing I'd want to try. But as time has passed, and because having to find salt substitutes, so mayonnaise isn't necessarily, like good mayonnaise, isn't necessarily high in sodium. It's like 70 milligrams per serving. But if you want to make a hummus or a dip and you're using 2 cups of mayonnaise, then it becomes problematic. So to find something that's creamy that makes those, to fill that void, avocado is one of those ways. So I started eating more avocado, but I had found that more often than not, I would prefer to just have a sliced up avocado with my sandwich instead of on my sandwich.
I'm with you. That's what I'd keep it on the side.
Yep.
As long as it's not brown.
Yep.
Let's go
Treat
to
it
work.
like and I know the brown bits are okay. I don't care. I still scoop them
I'm
out.
with
I'm
you.
weird.
I'm with
My husband and he want like the brown bits on a potato chip. Like, here, honey, you can have that one. I get the brown potato chips because I will eat any potato. And that's, like I said, the same with low sodium. When stuff says that it's low sodium or gluten-free or whatever, you have to read the ingredients. You have to read the ingredients, because all too often, if it's low sodium, they're substituting with potassium chloride. If it's low fat, they're substituting with fake sugars, which, you know, aspartame and things of that nature are not good for you. They're just not. So let's see, next myth. Snacking before you work out will slow you down. Snacking before a workout can actually give you more energy, but it's important that you choose the right snack. Simple carbs like fruit can help boost your performance. Consider portable options like dried mangoes or dates. Same, I used to get it was apricots. Dried apricots. At Sam's Club.
Always good. Yeah.
But they had added sugar. So I knew that's why I liked them, because it was a sugar bomb. So I had to pay attention. Again, you got to read the label. And if you're sensing a theme here, it's not about when you eat. It's about what you eat. And I actually read another article about fasting all night long because you go to bed and sleep, and then not eating first thing in the morning and not eating until lunch. Same concept. It doesn't matter if you eat breakfast or not eat breakfast. At least that's what this particular study was saying. If you still don't eat breakfast and you eat later in the morning because that's how you are, it still is about what you eat more than it is when you eat. So if you're going to fast all night, just eat something good for your first thing.
And after you snack, if you don't feel like working out anymore, perhaps you snacked wrong.
Right. Might be an indication that you chose poorly. That's hilarious. Someone bought me this is a long time ago, 20 years ago, bought me a 6-month membership to Bally Total Fitness with a personal trainer. She was fantastic, absolutely amazing. And every single day before I would go, it was either right before or immediately after, was an Egg McMuffin from McDonald's with a hash brown and a
No
large.
salt in that at all.
Yeah, I would just, every single time. Like, I just killed my workout. Oh, carbs are evil.
Dum, dum, dum.
No, they're not. Again, what you eat. It's always about what you eat. It's always about paying attention to what you eat. Carbohydrates found in foods have really gotten a bad rap over the past several years. The truth is, your body uses carbs to create energy. Good carbs are generally found in foods that are high in fiber. Fruits are a great example because they contain natural sugars and vitamins, plus they are an excellent source of fiber. Bad carbs can lead to obesity and high blood pressure, so be careful about your choices. Again, giant sandwich with processed white bread, processed plain crappy pastas. There's a lot of carbs out there that just aren't good for you.
Yeah.
And sadly with carbs, when they aren't good for you, they really aren't good for you.
I mean, you go over where, across the big lake there, and you hit Italy, where they're making fresh pasta. Not a lot of fat people.
And it's not refined, processed white flour.
Yeah,
a
right.
lot of it's fresh ground. Like it has a different texture.
Yeah.
The whole I wish that I could have everybody taste a loaf of fresh milled bread. It's amazing. And if you've ever been to Ireland or any place, all of their bakeries have it. It's not a commonplace here. To find it, if I win the Mega Millions or whatever, I'm going to have a bakery with a fresh milled, and you guys will know what it tastes like. But it is a huge, and even when I make it, it's still a shock, because the texture of it's different, the flavor of it's different. It does have more of a vaginal taste to it because of that. But it is extremely well. Let's see, last one, nuts. Really? This is myth. The myth is that nuts are unhealthy. I don't think I've ever heard that one. That's new to me. While nuts do contain a relatively high number of calories, they play an important role in a healthy diet. Nuts contain high amounts of proteins, monounsaturated fats that are good for the heart, especially raw or roasted dry nuts.
Well, a lot of people will confuse nuts with legumes.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
And,
So
beans
I'm
are
gonna sit here and eat dry roasted peanuts.
Right.
But it's not a nut.
Right.
That's a legume.
Right.
Right. So I mean, you get the walnuts, you get,
Right.
Cashews, things that are
Almonds.
Yeah.
Actually in the nut family. And
I mean, but there's nothing better than dry roasted peanuts. It's
dry
always
roasted cashews.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just good. It's just
I
delicious.
like the cashews. And the walnuts. I like walnuts
Yeah.
too. I'm all for
Brazil nuts.
Yeah, so it's fun. My dad says if Miss B wins, my stepmom, she'll share it. That woman,
She'd be lucky, huh?
she has got a horseshoe so far embedded up, I kid
Over
you
her
not.
doorway. Yeah.
The one day I go down to visit them down in Florida, and for years I would go down on my birthday, and then the zombies hit us, and I couldn't go last year. So she bought me, she's like, here's $10 or whatever, buy you a lottery ticket. And I said, if I pick it, I'm not going to win. So she bought me a lottery. It won $100.
Unbelievable.
Like all the time. She keeps a tally. She's in the green. She's like who plays the house and wins? And she plays the house and wins.
I think only one person won that $1 billion.
Yeah, I heard. They haven't. He's probably going to do it anonymously. But
Yeah.
if I won, I would. Oh my God, I would. In a heartbeat, I would.
I would throw my phone away. Nobody would know me.
Yeah. Everybody would know me because I'd open a bakery and serve bread.
Fresh milk.
I would sit there and eat and become fat and pay somebody else to make the bread that I want them
Fresh
to
milk.
make.
Fresh milk.
Yes, I would. But so I'm pro snack. I like coming up with unique snacks, and I like stealing ideas from others.
So you love the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's snacky day all day.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that I've always liked sports. I used to play hockey, volleyball, softball. But going to watch a football game or a baseball game, not really my cup of tea. I don't. And Ben and I were just talking about this the other night. Do you think they actually have fun? Like if I won the billions, I would buy a football team and go, you know what? This entire season, I don't care what you do.
Just have
Just have fun.
blast.
Just have a blast. I don't care. Throw a football at someone's face. I'll pay the fine. I don't care. Have fun. Play a game like you did when you were in college, and it was fun to play a game.
Just have a little fun.
Just go do that and see the outcome. I'd like to see if they would win if they played for fun instead of their money.
It'd be interesting.
It'd be
would be.
fabulous.
It
No one
would.
will ever do it because there's so much money in the sport.
Right.
But I would never go to watch. I would go.
Vegas would have a problem with that.
Yes, Vegas would have a huge problem with that. But I would always go to for that potluck side of it.
Yeah.
I want to bring my food. I want to share my food, and I want to eat other people's food. So I'm the one at the grazing table. I'm not the one watching them. I don't care.
And that's where you also want to, we got a couple minutes, but that's where you also want to shake your friends like, oh, really? 7-layer dip again. Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
They always come out with everybody's got the one dish.
Right.
you know.
Oh, great.
I always
Hey,
try to make something different.
bacon wrapped water
Yeah.
chestnuts again. Nice. Oh, that's great. Haven't had these since the last time
What's
you
the
were
other
here.
one? The sausage dip. It's cream cheese and sausage.
Oh, yeah.
The sausage dip. Oh, the Hawaiian loaf with the spinach dip in the middle.
Always.
That's another
Always
one that's
a
always
good one.
gotta be there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm the one that looks at that buffet of things and
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna make that. Like it's a successful party when I find something that I've never made before that gets me thinking and like and that's where I stole the water chestnut dip from. Sour cream with Dax Ranch and onions, garlic, and water chestnuts
Delicious.
is a fantastic little dip. Absolutely fantastic.
Delicious.
That's too funny.
All right, that's rolling us right into the back side of this. Of course, we appreciate everybody joining us here in northern Illinois with just a little bit of
I was gonna say, is it snowing yet?
little bit of snow maybe coming down. Be safe out there, everybody. And until next week, live a very low sodium week.
Yeah.
For all of us here at 21.6 The Net, we appreciate you getting caught in the net with us. Come back in about 15 minutes where it's your move. We'll talk about the vaccines that are out there and some of the ingredients in those.